Okay, so tell me a little bit about your experience finding your home. Like, what was special about it? What was unique? What kind of things did I do for you that gave you confidence in the process, made you feel like you were making the right decision? What kind of things did I do for you that got you this house?
Well, I think the biggest thing for us was just how. I know we've talked about this a lot. Is you wanted us to find the right house, and we've found our dream house. I mean, this is truly. We were expecting to get a fixer-upper, and my dad being a contractor would help us. We never thought we would end up in a house like this. There were a few houses right before we got this house where we were ready to close, and you basically were like, are you sure this is what you want? When we had that issue with the neighbor with the one house where we had a neighbor that would have been a real problem. I called you when I got home, and you were so reassuring, and you had our back, and I think I really recognized that pretty quick. And the fact that you were like, no, we're gonna pass on this place, even though I had been telling you the whole afternoon, even despite of that neighbor, I was like, I want to live here, but you were pretty adamant. Because once we had that experience, it was like, no, you can do better. Right. And then we found this house the next day.
Yeah, and so it's like, basically, you got to keep looking until the right thing comes along, and it takes as long as it takes, is what I always tell people.
And that's what we appreciated, I think. The most, and the fact that you were able to get us this house too. That was a whole other thing. You were able to negotiate it, and but the fact that. I know for my whole life, I've always been really sort of skeptical of salespeople because I'm like, they just want to make a sale. That wasn't the case with you. You wanted us to you cared about us and the situation, the house. This is the biggest decision of your life, buying a house. Yeah. So, and we got our dream house because of it, because you weren't pushing us into, making a sale. It seemed like you really cared. And I think that went a long way for me, who's very skeptical of anybody who's trying to sell me anything. So,
Yeah, same. And I would also say, like, anybody that, it's like you didn't just want to help us get a house. You wanted to help us get, or a sale,
It was the right house.
Get the right thing for our family, and that's what we ended up with.
Exactly what I try to do. So I appreciate you saying that. And Hannah, you're happy? Yeah. Pretty awesome place. Yeah.
And your grandpa's gonna build me a playhouse in the backyard that I haven't have sleepovers in.
That's so cool. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I think that obviously it's not just a house, it's a home.
Yeah.
And that's what I try to do, is to help you guys find a home. And if I recall on this one too, it was interesting because we had that wonderful kismet kind of moment where the owners had a teacher who taught in the district.
Yeah.
And so there was an affinity there that we were able to not take advantage of, but certainly foster and create more of a connection that allowed you guys to slide into first place without any competition, really.
Which still blows my mind. Right. I keep thinking, I tell the story to anyone.
Which is probably why we got this house, to be honest.
Yeah.
That connection, the fact that you wrote that letter and was like, we're teachers, and
no.
she was a she's a 30-year PE teacher, and I'm a PE teacher, so.
Daddy wanted good thing you were doing.
Yeah.
It made a big difference to them because they wanted the house to go to somebody that they would love the house.
Right, and he came over. He came over last week
or something.
Right.
So he's, we have a relationship with that family now, and
teaching us stuff.
He's showing us stuff about the pond, and he invited us out to their place.
Yeah, he's like, we'll have you out for trout Sunday.
They live on
a lake now, and he was like, well.
Oh yeah, they're in Chelan, aren't they?
They're in up by
Storm Lake.
Which
is
by
cool.
Up north.
And he was saying how they catch trout there, and
that's so cool.
Saying how I loved eating trout as a kid when we would go camping.
Well,
he said, well, how do you out? And I'm like, who does that?
This has to be easily, in my opinion, maybe one of the top 5 most beautiful homes that I've had the pleasure of helping somebody buy.
And
it's really amazing.
And that's the thing, is we didn't. We were like, we would have been happy with a little Rambler, but
I thought even that was probably out of reach.
Out of reach, but then once we got going, it was like, well, my gosh, if this is not that much more than these little places that we're seeing, let's go for it. And then the fact that it was actually able to happen was incredible. So
well, I'm ecstatic for you guys.